Hey, fact finders! Welcome to the channel. Prepare to be amazed as we dive into some of the most intriguing, bizarre, and astonishing facts from around the world. From the fascinating biology of creatures like the lungfish, to the peculiarities of languages like Swiss German, and even the hidden secrets behind iconic movie sound effects. This video has it all. But before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, so you'll know when we post a new video. Ready to expand your mind? Here are 20 mind-blowing facts you probably didn't know. Fact 1. There are species of fish that possess a singular lung and can breathe air, much like humans. One such example is the lungfish, a type of fish found in both Africa and South America. Lungfish have a unique adaptation. They possess both gills for underwater respiration and a modified swim bladder that functions like a lung, allowing them to breathe air. This enables them to survive in environments with low oxygen levels, or in dry conditions when they may need to burrow and estivate, a form of hibernation, until water levels return. There are different species of lungfish, but the most well-known ones include the Australian lungfish and African lungfish. These fish are considered living fossils, as they have been around for millions of years, and are thought to be among the ancestors of amphibians. Lungfish are able to survive in low-oxygen environments, and can even breathe air for extended periods, which sets them apart from many other fish species. Fact 2. Swiss German, or Schweizerdeutsch, is primarily a collection of Alemannic dialects spoken in Switzerland. Unlike standard High German, Hochdeutsch, Swiss German has no standard spelling. Instead, people write Swiss German phonetically, reflecting the sounds and nuances of their particular regional dialect. Because of this, the spelling of words can vary significantly, even among neighboring villages or towns. This variation is a key feature of Swiss German, as speakers can often identify someone's origin based on their accent, word choices, or how they write the language. The diversity is a point of cultural pride, but also makes written communication less uniform compared to languages with a standard orthography. Fact 3. Caribou, also known as reindeer in Europe, are the only species of deer where both males and females grow antlers. This unique trait sets them apart from other deer species, where generally only males grow antlers, with the exception of species like Chinese water deer which don't grow antlers at all. In caribou, the antlers serve different purposes for each gender. Males use their antlers for competing with other males during the breeding season. Females retain their antlers through winter, which they use to defend feeding areas from other animals in harsh Arctic conditions, especially when food is scarce. Interestingly, females usually shed their antlers after calving in the spring, while males lose theirs after the mating season in late autumn. This means that during the winter months, most caribou with antlers are female. Fact 4. Strange face illusions. A psychological phenomenon where, when looking at your own reflection in dim lighting, you'll see someone totally different, or otherwise your face will be distorted. 3 things contribute to this phenomenon. The first is a visual adaptation. Your brain becomes desensitized to the stable features of your reflection due to prolonged staring. This causes changes in perception as your brain fills in gaps or creates distortions. Next is something called the Troxler effect. Peripheral details of your reflection may fade or morph due to the brain's tendency to tune out unchanging stimuli, creating eerie distortions or imagined features. Finally, facial recognition errors. The brain's facial recognition processes, which are highly sensitive, start to misinterpret your reflection, making you see unfamiliar faces, exaggerated features, or even monstrous forms. This illusion is fascinating because it highlights how our brains actively interpret sensory input rather than passively recording reality. Fact 5. The platypus is not the only egg-laying mammal. Echidnas share that unique trait. The platypus and echidnas, also known as spiny anteaters, are the only egg-laying mammals, a unique group called monotremes. Both species are native to Australia and New Guinea. Fact 6. The Hoover Dam was completed 2 years ahead of schedule. Originally planned for completion in 1936, the construction of the dam was finished in 1935. A remarkable achievement considering its scale and the technological challenges of the time. The dam's early completion is attributed to meticulous planning, innovative engineering techniques, and the tireless efforts of the workers, despite harsh conditions. This was a significant accomplishment during the Great Depression, as it provided much-needed jobs and contributed to the economic recovery. Fact 7. The sound effect for the opening of the Ark in Raiders of the Lost Ark was indeed created by dragging a toilet lid over some paving. This unusual technique was part of a range of sound design innovations used in the film to bring its action sequences to life. The team often used everyday objects to produce unique and impactful sound effects. Fact 8. Jim Carrey's Grinch smile isn't prosthetic or CGI, he can actually contort his face that way. His exaggerated smile, featuring a wide, toothy grin, is something he can naturally achieve, enhancing his portrayal of the Grinch. Fact 9. A neutron star mergers can produce anywhere between 3 and 13 Earth masses of gold. Neutron star mergers are known to produce significant amounts of heavy elements including gold, through a process called rapid neutron capture, or the R process. When two neutron stars collide, the immense energy and neutron-rich environment create conditions suitable for forming heavy elements. These events are also responsible for creating other heavy elements like platinum and uranium, enriching the universe with these materials. This finding is based on astronomical observations and theoretical models, including detections of gravitational waves and electromagnetic signals from mergers, such as the 2017 kilonova event GW 170817. Fact 10. China traditionally named their children 100 days after birth. During that time they had a milk name. It was usually either a diminutive or something gross to keep evil spirits away from the child. It sometimes sticks around as a nickname. Today they have 1 month to name the child. Fact 11. In the aftermath of the Spanish-American War, Spain sold the Philippines to the United States for $20 million. This was formalized in the Treaty of Paris signed on December 10, 1898. Under this treaty, Spain relinquished sovereignty over the Philippines, Cuba, Guam, and Puerto Rico. While Cuba gained nominal independence, the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico became U.S. territories. The $20 million payment was included as part of the treaty to compensate Spain for the loss of the Philippines, which was seen as a strategic acquisition by the U.S. due to its location in the Pacific. However, this transfer of control sparked resistance among Filipinos, leading to the Philippine-American War from 1899 to 1902, as the Filipino population sought independence rather than becoming a U.S. territory. Fact 12. The Mani Pulite was a 1990s Italian corruption scandal in which over half the parliament and members of over 400 city and town councils were implicated in bribery and embezzlement schemes. The investigations, led by Milanese prosecutors, exposed a system where political parties and officials routinely solicited bribes in exchange for public contracts. The scandal led to the collapse of Italy's post-war political system, particularly the disintegration of major parties like the Christian Democrats and the Socialists. Several prominent politicians and businessmen faced charges or were convicted, and some even committed suicide under the pressure. Fact 13. Many women from the Victorian era, which spanned from 1837 to 1901, made jewelry from insects. This practice was influenced by the era's fascination with nature, science, and the macabre. Live and preserved insects like beetles, butterflies, and even spiders were incorporated into brooches, necklaces, and other accessories. The trend was partially inspired by the Victorian love for naturalism and curiosity about the exotic, as well as the era's engagement with taxidermy and other decorative uses of animals. Jewelers sometimes mounted iridescent beetles and colorful butterfly wings in intricate designs, while some pieces even included live, jeweled insects as fashion statements. This style was more common among wealthier women due to the craftsmanship and materials required. Fact 14. The Cuyahoga River in Ohio was so polluted that it caught fire multiple times in the 19th and 20th centuries due to the buildup of oil, chemicals, and industrial waste on its surface. The most famous fire occurred on June 22, 1969, drawing national attention. Although it wasn't the largest or most damaging fire, it became a powerful symbol of environmental degradation and helped spur the environmental movement in the United States. The 1969 fire inspired the creation of significant environmental policies, including the Clean Water Act of 1972 and the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, in 1970. Efforts to clean up the Cuyahoga River since then have been largely successful, and today, it is much healthier than it was during its industrial peak. Fact 15. The 2016 Italian film Perfect Strangers, or Perfetti Sconosciuti, holds the record for being the most remade movie with 26 versions produced in different languages. This milestone was achieved within just 8 years of its release. Remakes have been created in countries like Spain, South Korea, Mexico, and India, among others. Interestingly, an English-language version has not yet been made, which is unusual given the film's global popularity and adaptability. Fact 16. The casuarina, also known as she-oak or Australian pine, is a tree that looks like a pine tree with its needle-like leaves but is actually a flowering plant. The needles of the casuarina are actually modified stems, while its true leaves are tiny scale-like structures arranged in whorls around the branchlets. These trees are native to Australia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Islands, and are well adapted to harsh environments, often used for erosion control and as windbreaks. Fact 17. Friday the 13th has become the busiest day of the year for tattoo artists and has become something of a Black Friday for tattoo shops. Many tattoo artists and parlors celebrate the superstition-laden date by offering special deals, usually small, flash-style tattoos at heavily discounted prices. Some shops have even made it a tradition to design unique themed tattoos for Friday the 13th, such as the number 13, black cats, or other symbols associated with the day. This tradition dates back to the early 2000s and was popularized by artists like Oliver Peck, who is credited with turning Friday the 13th into a celebrated event for tattoo enthusiasts. Fact 18. The Japanese dish known as shiruo no odorigui. The shiruo, or ice goby, are small translucent fish that are served in a shot glass while still alive. The term odorigui translates to dancing food, referring to the movement of the live fish in your mouth as you eat them. Traditionally, the shiruo are served in a small container, often with a bit of vinegar or soy sauce. The fish are consumed alive and fresh, creating a unique texture and sensation. This dish is especially popular in regions like Fukuoka, where it's considered a seasonal specialty during spring. It is a controversial practice due to ethical concerns, but it continues to be part of traditional Japanese cuisine for adventurous food enthusiasts. Fact 19. In 1927, heavyweight boxing champion Gene Tunney received a check for $1 million for his second fight versus Jack Dempsey, making him the first athlete in history to be paid $1 million in a single year, or for a single sporting event. Fact 20. Theseus, a robotic mouse created by Claude Shannon in the 1950s, which could learn to navigate mazes using telephone relay switches, marking one of the first instances of machine learning. Theseus was not only a fascinating experiment in robotics, but also helped researchers understand network routing, particularly within the context of telephone systems at the time. By simulating the mouse's problem-solving process, Shannon and his colleagues contributed to the early understanding of how machines could process information and make decisions based on input and previous experiences. There you have it, 20 mind-blowing facts that you probably didn't know. From the lungfish's incredible ability to survive out of water, to the mysterious illusions that trick our brains into seeing faces, we've covered a wide spectrum of interesting topics. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing facts and stories. Until next time, keep on discovering, one fact at a time. Gap 2S.